What if I told you almost 2 homeless people die every week in Toronto? In just January of 2019, 7 people have been counted. So what is causing Toronto's homeless crisis? To understand how we got here, we need to go back to the 1980s, when homelessness wasn't considered a social problem in the city. Cutbacks to social housing began in the mid-80s, and by 1993, the federal government had stopped spending on building new social housing. This is Greg Cook. He's been working closely with the homeless population in Toronto for over a decade.
The basic building blocks were not that different, but Canada was building 10 to 20,000 units of affordable housing a year. We are no longer doing that. We're hardly building any, right? Like I know in 2017, Toronto built 300 units of affordable housing, right? So that's not even keeping up with demand, right? So that's why the wait list is getting longer.
Currently, the waitlist for affordable housing is over 100,000 people. Once on the list, the average wait is almost 10 years. Advocates say this is pushing more people into the shelter system. Currently, there are around 7,000 beds, and most nights, shelters are at capacity. This is Kathy Crow, a street nurse who works with the Shelter and Housing Justice Network. She says overcrowding causes some serious health risks.
New disease outbreaks, so tuberculosis being one of them, other kinds of outbreaks like bed bugs, the most recent being quite a serious strep A outbreak that happened and lasted close to 18 months in a shelter that hospitalized some individuals and one man died. Those are all kind of markers of disaster medicine or disaster healthcare when you begin to see trends like that. And of course, more and more crowding in shelters and more people sleeping outside.
While overcrowded shelters are not ideal, they are certainly better than being out on the street. Of the 101 deaths in 2017, 35 occurred in shelters, but most happened on the streets.
They counted 100 deaths in 2017. So if you break that down, that's about 2 deaths per week. And often the way people die is violent.
Just this year, 1 woman died trapped in a clothing donation bin. Another was killed by a reversing garbage truck while she was sleeping.
There's a whole bunch of things that if somebody had better circumstances in their life, if they had a kind of better quality of life, would not be happening.
Al Key is currently homeless in Toronto. We asked Al, how many funerals has he been to in the last year?
Almost 12. Tonight I'm actually sleeping on the street, so.
It's freezing tonight.
Yeah, it is. It is. But there was warm days ahead. There are warm days ahead, right?
We would like to add a special thanks to the Toronto Homeless Memorial, Greg and Kathy, for helping us to develop this story.